The Sonic trailer. Oh, we should actually watch that. I'll watch that with you guys so you can see that abomination. Arthur is two 15-minute episodes, but I didn't even watch the other 15 minutes. Yeah, see special appearance by her, and then the other 15 minutes is an episode apparently about superheroes or some shit. But, I mean, you know, it's not that it's bad or anything. I just don't really give too much of a shit. Apparently, in a earlier season, I think season 9 or something like that, I remember reading, Arthur actually had lesbians on the show, which apparently they went to like a village or something like that, and like everybody's moms were lesbians. It was like only moms there. And Buster comments on it, and he's like, wow, everybody has a lot of moms. And that's it. And so I was like, you know, yeah. Just a second here, though. Let me load this up. Yeah, I'm gonna say I do not like Jim Carrey as Robotnik. Not that I don't like his performance as Robotnik. I really don't like his performance as Robotnik. I think they have made him into the only type of Robotnik that sucks. They could have done literally anything else, and it would have been better. And they just didn't. They made it very, very bad. Oh my god, that's loud. Just a second here. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay, that was weird. Like, all my other fucking windows just vanished. What the hell? That was weird. I'm trying to figure out how to, like, organize my windows here. Give me a second. I need, like, a third monitor. That emote hero. Okay. Let me tone this way down. That's still probably pretty loud, isn't it? No, it's not too bad, I don't think. Yeah, I didn't renew the thing on a ball puncher, just because I'm not going to be working on it anytime soon, like, for the next few years, so there's not really a point for me to keep paying, like, $100 a year to keep that thing going. The view counts for the site were under, like 20 people a year, so... But, the series isn't dead. I do still plan to eventually revive it. It's just I can't right now. And I can't for at least the next, like, you know, few years. So that's why I just didn't renew it. Because, yeah, it's just literally money being eaten up. But I do still have all the content and assets for it and all that stuff. But let me see here. So, yeah, if you somehow have not seen this trailer by now, I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, this is the awful Sonic trailer. Is this too loud or anything? Can you hear it?
What the?
Obviously meant to, like, imply the whole beginning of Sonic Adventure. Alright. I gotta say something about this. Now, here's the thing a lot of you may not know. Well, the first thing I'm going to say, a lot of you do know, because if you've been here for any amount of time, you already know this. I grew up as a huge Sonic fan. Like, probably not in recent years I could say this, but throughout my teenage years, I was probably like a Sonic encyclopedia. I knew a shit ton about this series in and out. And if you're wondering why some of the stuff in this film is what it is, like, for example, Sonic being an alien, Sonic living underground in what is basically destitute stuff, all these other things, it's because this entire movie was based off of something called the Sonic Bible, which was effectively the very first Sonic storyline thing ever made. And hey, InariFox. So when Sonic came out in Japan, he didn't really have much backstory at all. And so when he came to America, we got to have backstory for our superheroes. And so somebody at Sega of America came up with something called the Sonic Bible. And it was basically a bunch of shit that somebody just came up with out of their ass to describe this character. And some of the key things in it are that, in fact, let me read directly from this, just so you can see how absolutely apeshit this is. Just to give you a better idea of what this actually, like, what they're basing this movie off of. So a good deal of this movie is based off of the original Sonic Bible. So as you can see here, in this one, he was born on Earth. Although in this movie, he's an alien, which takes part, I think, from Sonic X. Where basically what this movie is it's an amalgam of every single Sonic universe shoved into one. They combined the Adventure universe, the original 16-bit game universe, Sonic Saturday AM, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the Sonic 2006, etc. era stuff, the Sonic CD series, the Sonic Bible, the comics, and the European comics too. They just combined every fucking Sonic series into a movie. And the reason why this is a terrible idea is because, unbeknownst to most people, Sonic has like more universes than probably most Marvel comic characters do. There's a lot. Like, there is a ton of wildly different storylines. And I even saved it somewhere on my computer. I'm actually curious if I can find this. This is a total shot in the dark. I super don't think I have this. Wow, I do! I do have this picture. Oh, shit. Okay, check this out. This is actually how fucking insane the Sonic universes are. Like, no exaggeration, I went over this a while back, and this is actually completely accurate. This is how fucking nuts the Sonic universe is. Alright? Look at this shit. This for Sonic. You want to know where Sonic 1 starts? It starts up here. That's where Sonic 1 starts. But Sonic X is back here. And then you have the European comics. You have a French comic that is slightly different here. You have the Penguin educational books. You have the classic Sonic timeline, which also starts down here, but only through Sonic Generations. You have Sonic 06 being undone right here, but it also takes place down here and goes into the distant future. Then you have the entire comic series where the Zorda invasion, which is what actually turned all of humanity into animals by bombing them with a nuclear bomb. I'm not kidding, actually look this up. The entire Sonic comic is made off of the plotline that aliens that got pissed off by humans at one point in time came back hundreds of years later and bombed the Earth and mutated everything on the planet into sentient animal forms. Sounds a little bit like Adventure Time. Just saying. But they came back and did that, and then you have all the different comics. And you have Sonic Underground, the OVA, the Saturday AM series, And then splitting that off, if that didn't happen, but the Echidnas never declared war, you get the Sonic Boom series, because Angel Island never got split off. It's part of things. So this whole apeshit thing got combined into a movie, and this isn't even counting the Sonic Bible, because that never actually became a part of any continuity of Sonic, and it got scrapped until now. So they're bringing the Sonic Bible into it, plus all this other amalgam of complete insanity. So, yeah. So the Sonic Bible, though, Sonny Hedgehog, not Sonic, by the way, Sonny, was born in fucking Nebraska, alright? And he is eating slugs, bugs, milkshakes, and burger scraps, and he's in a happy family with 5 sisters. Alright, Sonic's parents got busy. Then take into account that his dad died when he was a few days old after falling into a toxic waste vat, which is where you get the whole anti-pollution, full-on environmentalism, Captain Planet attitude that Sonic has. Apparently, though, his dad was the fastest hedge runner who could run around hedges. And Sonny, is wanting to see his dad in hedge heaven. So you go to the next page here. And Sonny basically was fast as fuck. He was thick with bushy brown quills, a headstrong personality, and a rambunctious sense of humor. His favorite trick was to frequent the local bowling alley and curl up in the ball return, awaiting the grasp of an unsuspecting bowler like a complete asshole. Sometimes he would curl up ever so tightly and stay perfectly still until a bowler tossed him down the alley, and then he would uncurl at the last minute, routing the bowler's perfect score. Complete asshole. This was Sonic in the Sonic Bible originally. But he also loved people, and he would drop in on the ladies for the local quilting circle to offer a convenient pin or needle. Nobody questioned a sentient hedgehog offering them a needle. This was written before Sonic 1 came out. This was what American backstory for Sonic 1 was going to be before the game came out. Thankfully, they scrapped all this and said, wow, what the fuck? But this was what it was going to be. And this is what the movie's based off of. The Sonic movie coming out is largely in part based off of this Bible. So, yeah, Sonny learned to read and write. He learned to read and write, all right? Because the kid's teaching him. Eventually, though, he got fast as fuck because he wanted to, be like his dad. And in more insanity, the Hardy's track team went out and they measured Sonic running fast as fuck. So he was on the track team as a hedgehog for the humans. All right? He was competing in local, then regional track tournaments. As the summer days lengthened, he had a bunch of trophies. This isn't fanfic. This was official Sega documentation they were going to use. This was going to be it. Official. Yeah, Madonna was Sonic's girlfriend in the original game. This was also going to be canon. They were going to officially have Madonna endorse the game as Sonic's girlfriend. No joke. And in fact, if you want to see a picture of that, this is official art from the Sega Studios. This was the actual stuff. They were going to have Madonna in the game. So, again, if you think Sonic's nuts now, all right. So, yeah. They had to hibernate. Sonic had to hibernate, and his whole family had to hibernate. So he couldn't be on the track team anymore. Sonic, though, being a little rambunctious dick, decided to tunnel underground instead of hibernating, and he kept going. And eventually, he fell asleep in his hole that he'd dug, and that was it. He fell asleep, right? So he wakes up, and he hears a bunch of machines and all this other shit. And he burrows out, and there's a scientist there. And he uses a device to be able to talk to Sonic. Even though, remember, somehow the track team understood him, and the kids taught him English. He still needs a fucking device to talk to him, so, okay. So the doctor here is named Dr. Ovi Kintobor. I'm sure you see where this is going. So the doctor here is Mr. Environmentalist. He wants to save the world. He wants to do all this shit, and he's trying to find the gray emerald, the gray chaos emerald. And what he wants to do is he wants to get all of the world's negativity and all of the world's bad shit and pollution and dark, evil energy or whatever, and put it into this chaos emerald and trap it in trap it in the gray chaos emerald. Okay, he wants to trap him in there. I watched too much of the Arthur episode, and he wants to trap it in there. And yeah, god damn it, he wants to trap it in there though, and yeah, so he spent like his whole life trying to do this, and he wants to restore Earth to its natural pristine state. But he moved everything to a former radioactive dumping site to be the perfect site to test his solution to see if he could get rid of all the bad shit. So Sonic, though, wants to stay with the doctor to be his assistant because he has a treadmill and he can go fast as fuck on the treadmill. And when he's on the treadmill, he's running so fast that once he hits over the speed of sound, he began running at the speed of light. That's right. It was going to be Sonic canon that he can run at the speed of light. This is probably why in the movie he's able to stop fucking time. Because if you could run at the speed of light, you basically would just be stopping time around you. This is actually called the Sonic Bible. This is the first page of it, actually calls it the Sonic the Hedgehog Bible. That was the actual official documentation. I don't know if he can move at the speed of light. He can move pretty damn fast, though. So he goes so fast, though, that his entire body, all the quills on his back, all the brown quills, fuse themselves together and turn a cobalt blue because of the extreme speed he was going, basically burning his skin and fusing it. And then he decides to change his name to Sonic. So he changed his name to Sonic, and one day in the lab, they have nothing to eat except for a few rotten eggs, and so they set it down on the counter, and Kintobor goes to get the fucking evil energy from the Chaos Emeralds and stabilize them with all the bad energy in the world and stuff like that, or whatever crazy-ass plot they had, where they were going to stabilize everything, put it in the Chaos Emeralds, and then be done with it. But when they're doing this, how'd they do it in this version? Radiation. So I guess a big radioactive wave hit shit, and it made the Chaos Emeralds go nuts. And so then the emeralds started like losing it, so he tried to gather them into a bag to keep them safe from the radiation. But then the whole device he'd built to stabilize them turned on, and it cast the light on Dr. Kintobor, the emeralds with all the evil energy in them, and the half-eaten egg on the countertop. And so if you combine those three things, you end up with Robotnik. Oh yeah, they absolutely ripped that plotline, because this was going to be the official Sonic plotline. So it's highly likely that since the Sonic comics came out at the exact same time as the first game, that the UK version probably got this from Sega of America, or maybe this was even the European version, I'm not sure. Either way, it was the Western version. But they got that, and they probably started making the comics based off of it, and that was it. And so now, he's fucking Robotnik, and he's evil as hell, and he wants to basically ruin the whole planet, and that's it. That's the Sonic Bible, and that's what most of this movie is based off of. And so if you look at the comics that were being mentioned there, who mentioned that? Zebulon, you can actually see that this is what the characters looked like originally. Was Sonic look like this, and Dr. Ovi Kintobor looked like that. And that was it. And then this is even more of a better summary of things. This is the last thing I'm going to show, and then I'll go to the trailer. Is this. Yeah, this basically summarizes everything I just said. Is Kintobor was having him use the speed shit and gave him the power sneakers. He goes fast as fuck, and he turns blue. And that's how he ends up looking like that. And so, you know, that was the official Western story for forever because of the comics and stuff like that. Now, the Archie comics have a vastly different story, of course, but that's a whole bag of worms I'm not even going to go into. One last thing I did want to mention, actually, is something notable about the UK comics. Is I'm sure all of you know about Super Sonic, you know, from the whole Sonic series and all that, and becomes super powerful, and he's super, like, good and all that shit, right? And he's, like, fucking awesome and everything. One interesting twist that the UK comics did, because, you know, Sonic 2 was, like, a 16-bit game. It's open to interpretation and all that stuff, right? It's open to interpretation and stuff like that, right? So, like Colbot mentioned, in the UK comics, when Sonic becomes super, considering that the origin of the Chaos Emeralds is evil and gray and stuff like that, this is Sonic in the UK comics. So Sonic basically turns into, like, super evil, violent version of himself when he becomes Super Sonic. So, yeah, it's basically his, like, inner evil magnified by the emeralds. And there's even a plotline eventually where he has to fight himself and stuff like that. So he's basically a complete fucking asshole in the comics. And yeah, he fights himself eventually when he, like, splits himself apart. And there's, like, this entire fucking lore behind it. And yes, Sonic is a complete asshole in the UK comics. In the US comics, he's pretty nice. But in the UK comics, he is a super fucking dick, dude. Like, he literally just basically tells Tails to, like, fuck off, and he's, like, an asshole. Like, this is not edited text. I'm not even kidding you on this. This perfectly exemplifies an average conversation between Sonic and Tails. Look at this shit. Sonic, I don't like the look of that face. And Sonic replies, I don't much like the look of your face. Am I complaining? Damn! Like, this isn't even, like, a rare thing. Like, where's this one at? I just saw this one in the related images. Hold on. Like, it's interesting how they interpreted Sonic and Tails' relationship in UK. Like, Sonic saves him, and he says, I was saving the Emerald Hill Zone. Saving you was just a bonus, not when I think about it. Damn, dude. And here's another example in the same thing with weird green Sonic behind him. I don't know what the hell that is. If I never see you again, Tails, this is how I'll always remember you, as a little two-tailed dimwit who's always whining. Damn, dude. Just brutal, though. But, I mean, yeah, like, I wonder how the UK sees Sonic. Like, it must be even more of a mindfuck for them, like, how, like, nice and, you know, like, cool surfer guy they made him in the future games compared to how he was in the UK comics. Just absolutely brutal. But anyways, getting back to the actual trailer, with all that backstory in mind, now you have a better idea where they're coming from for the movie. What doesn't make any sense is picking this as a song.
Gotta go fast.
Minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest. This needs someone who can figure
Skater
out
guy,
exactly
sure.
what we're dealing with.
You're not suggesting who I think you're suggesting.
By the way, Taggerneth, on that note, there's a rumor or an idea floating around that the Sonic movie team are geniuses, like the marketers. And why I say that, and this might be true, I'm buying into this also, is that the whole movie, this entire time, they've actually had a design for Sonic accurate to the games, like the design everyone wants it as, but they've intentionally put out trailers with this shitty design and leaked, quote-unquote, images of the shitty design because they know it would get the internet going nuts. And this whole time they've had the actual movie done with good character design, and that's what they're going to put out. And they've just had that ready this whole time. But they baited everybody into talking about the movie. Because, like, if you think about it, if this movie's really coming out in just a few months, that's not enough time to, like, redo high-level 3D graphics if Sonic's in, like, almost every frame of the movie. Like, or not every frame of the movie, but if he's in, like, 80% of the movie, think about how much they'd have to redo with the 3D graphics, with face tracking, with body tracking, with voice sync, with everything. That's not some job they can slap together in, like, the 5 or 6 months before the movie comes out. So a lot of people were thinking that this has already been done, and they only showed these specific parts just to bait everybody because it's, like, the shittiest looking stuff they could show. So we'll see. If they actually do this, I'd be pretty amazed. It'd be a hell of a ballsy move. But take into account, the person funding this, the producer for this movie, was the producer for Deadpool. And he left Deadpool 2 to work on this movie. So I want to have at least some faith in, like, the Hail Mary here that that is the case. So, we'll see. And thanks for the bits, Flint Tongue. Yeah, they should have had Urkel voice Sonic or that Sean Schimmel guy voice Sonic. I think that's the second voice actor, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We'll see.
We have no choice.
Oh.
What the?
A lot of people are calling this a Robotnik origin story and not a Sonic movie, which I can see if you think about it. Because the idea is Sonic is an alien, comes to Earth, pisses off Robotnik, and then Robotnik follows him back to Mobius, and it's Robotnik's origin story why he's on Mobius.
Are you in charge here?
Yes, I am.
Thanks for the bits also, whoever anonymously shared
I'm
that.
wrong. I'm in charge.
Allow me to clarify. In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify.
This is the worst possible direction they could have went with Robotnik. Absolutely fucking awful. Alright? In my opinion. I really hate this because they took the depiction of him, which is only used in like 2 forms of media, that he's a robot. they're making him out to be either a robot fetishist or that he literally is a robot partially, with the way he's doing this shit in other parts of the trailer too. They only use this in in one version of him from the comics, and it was only a temporary version, and I believe in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was it. No need to make him a robot. And no need to make him do this worry shit. And no need to make him... Robotnik was always a genius. For sure. Which, obviously, they got right. But they made him into, like, a snarky, arrogant, nerdy genius. No. That is not Robotnik, alright? Robotnik's like Megabyte in Reboot. There's only really two ways you can take Robotnik that makes sense. Is you take him like he did in Sonic Boom, or in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and you make him into a complete idiot goofball. Like, you know, the stupid genius, so to speak. You know, somebody that's, like, harmless, effectively, that is really smart, but just fucks up on everything, just like slapstick. Or you make him into the menacing, evil Robotnik that says little, but carries a big stick, so to speak. Like... I'll show you the Robotnik I prefer after this.
Agent Stone.
The doctor thinks you're basic.
Listen, pal, I don't know if you realize who...
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name?
Benny. Nobody cares.
Underground was a pretty brutal one too, but I'm talking about Saturday AM.
FPD.
And here's the scene everybody memes.
Meow? Oh, come on.
Fastest thing alive can't dodge a tranquilizer dart.
Okay, pal, I want answers. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet. Oh, is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job...
Sonic's quills don't come off. Doesn't happen. Never had a video game representation of him with quills fucking coming off, or not being some sort of big solid fucking brick of basically shit stuck to his body. Definitely not fucking electrified either. Have zero idea where they got this from.
job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.
The only thing I can think of is they're taking this from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, where he can actually shoot projectiles with shit. But that still isn't, like, this. That is true, Inari. And considering they're pulling stuff from everything else, you might be right on that one, that they're pulling it from the canceled Saturday AM Genesis game. But all the same, what a weird thing to pull from. But then again, they're doing the Sonic Bible. Speaking of which, I'm going to load that up actually real quick. Just so I have that, and also... Wait. Oh, I thought it was an actual thing. I was going to, like, shit my fucking pants. Hold on. Alright. Right. I'm just loading a few videos up here. I really don't know why they're making him, or making it to be, or having Gangster's Paradise on there. I really don't understand that. Wow, there's like... No. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, also I like how they note from the producer of The Fast and the Furious. Hey, let's go back to this. So, a lot of people quote, like, magic rings don't do that, but they actually do. is this is one of the things they actually got technically right, because when you jump through the rings at the end of Sonic 1 and a few other parts in the franchise, you go to the special level. So they actually do transport you, and there are other parts of the media, including the comics and other places like that, where the rings do actually teleport you to different places. So this is actually correct in the canon, in almost every part of the canon. Oh no, his sneakers have never been what made him fast in almost any part of any of the canons. It's just been that his sneakers are the only thing that can actually stand up to his running and don't instantly explode. This part though,
I took 9 million steps today.
no, dude. No. There's so many things wrong with that scene, I don't know where to even begin. Like, Sonic can't freeze time like that. And if you were hitting that shit with time stop like that, it ain't gonna fucking like, why would it explode if time stopped? Why? And then I just... That is interesting. It says that in the Genesis manual, Colbot. I'm surprised if it does say that. Because I don't remember that actually being, like, in any of the other medium. But it might be what they originally had in it.
Stay in there and be quiet.
How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
It's not your child.
Smells like body spray in an old ham sandwich.
So there's Robotnik at the actual end. So, like, the general theory, considering the background, yeah, is a Mushroom Hill Zone. So the general theory is that Sonic pisses off Robotnik so much and, like, fucks him up so much, you know, like his mustache is all frayed, he's got no hair, etc., that Robotnik follows him back to Mobius, or wherever he came from, wherever they call it in the movie, because Sonic's an alien in this. So that's the theory as to what the ending of the movie is. And this is probably literally, like, the end of the movie. It's probably, like, the last, like, minute of the movie. So, you know. Now, another thing notable is that makes people think this isn't completely done. It is probably not too easy to see on Twitch, but you can see the actual line in this clip as to where his hair meets up with his head, or where the cap meets up with his actual head. You can actually, like, see this. So another theory is that this is similar to One Punch Man, if anybody's watching that for season 2, where let me show you an example of that. I wonder if anybody has an actual comparison of this. They probably don't. Or maybe they have it as a GIF. Hold on. Yeah, I did know about that, Inari. I was actually mentioning that earlier. And it got removed by the user. Pretty nice. Oh, this might be it. I think this is it. Okay, good. So, what people are also theorizing is that this may not be final footage, which also goes with the theory that this is all, like, bullshitted just to get attention. But just to show you an example of what a company might do to show, like, a trailer off, but then the final product is different. The above clip is the trailer version of when he punched, and the bottom clip is what it looks like in the actual episode. So everybody thought the top version was final, but then the bottom version is what it actually looked like in the final episode. So to play that again in slow motion. You can see the top is just like doot, doot. But then the bottom is like a full close-up, and then charge up, and then effects, and then like the fist popping out with, you know, like depth perception and all other stuff. So considering that Robotnik's head has that very clear cut part of it showing, is a pretty good giveaway that a lot of the stuff in the trailer is not final. So there is every chance that what we actually get in the theater will be different. But who knows? You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a blockbuster movie. You know, it's up against Endgame and it's up against Pikachu, which, by the way, Pikachu, the Detective Pikachu movie, if you haven't seen it, is really good. It's probably the best video game movie ever made. Like, it's super, super good. So definitely check that out if you have not yet already before it leaves theaters. Very worth it. It's extremely well done. But yeah, I'm still gonna watch the Sonic movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm still definitely gonna watch it. Yeah, Detective Conan actually beat out Endgame in Japan, and when I was there recently, man, there was a lot of Detective Conan shit. A lot of Detective Conan shit. But, yeah, I wanted to show this because Inari mentioned it earlier. Sega was going to put out a Sonic Saturday AM cartoon at one point. Or, I mean, fucking video game at one point. They were going to put out a video game for it. And this was the sales pitch to the executives and stuff like that with, like, a demo. There's actual gameplay. But yeah, so this was actually like a stealth type game, which is really interesting because this would have probably came out before Metal Gear Solid. There wasn't really many stealth games out at the time. If this would have actually came out, the entire land, like, this sounds like an exaggeration, but the entire landscape of video games might have been slightly altered by this game coming out, because it would have been on a major franchise, which is Sonic, but introducing gameplay that was like stealth-based, which was a pretty novel niche concept at the time. So, you know, like, I know there was other stealth games out there. It wasn't like the first game to ever do it, but this would have been Sonic, you know? Like, Sonic was the fucking king of games for a while, and especially around this period. So, you know, this would have significantly drawn a lot of attention to the stealth genre, more so than, I mean, let's be fair here, Metal Gear before Metal Gear Solid was practically unknown. Like, not only did it come out on systems that weren't super popular at the time besides the Nintendo, it just was a, like, literal unknown compared to Sonic, like, which was, again, pretty much Sonic and Mario were, like, the kings of video games for this entire generation. So, I've probably talked about it a few times, probably not a long time, but yeah, the fact that, like, he could throw rings, he could do different attacks and stuff like that would have been also a significant change thematically for Sonic. Because Sonic at this time was only known for speed. And having, like, an actual story-driven adventure game like this would have been a very different take for the entire character. Not to mention the whole darker plot of the comics in general and of Saturday AM in game form would have also been something that wasn't too big at the time. And then, of course, you have the characters from the comics that would have helped out, having a larger cast and stuff like that. Apparently, this was all animated. It wasn't actually playable. But this was 1993 when that came out, so that would have been shortly after, I think, Sonic 2. But, yeah, you know, if that would have came out, I think that would have been a pretty big game changer for a lot of stuff. Just because, again, how rare that kind of gameplay was back in the day. And then the last thing I'm going to show you before I actually get on to games is, yeah, it would have been after Metal Gear 1, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not that it was the first, it's that nobody, like, gave a fuck about Metal Gear back then. Like, nobody even knew what Metal Gear was as a series for the most part until Metal Gear Solid. Like, it was just a literal unknown. It's like how everybody's making these FODdy-like games, they're calling them now. Like Getting Over It and Pogo Stuck and Jump King, all based around the same kind of formula. But they're all based off of Sexy Hiking, which was, to date, only like 10 people on YouTube did videos of that game, and I'm one of them. And nobody knew anything about that game at all up until Getting Over It, mentioning it, and being the inspiration for Getting Over It. And now people go back, and of course everybody like knows it and stuff like that. But prior to that, yeah, like nobody knew it at all. So, but I want to show this though. This is really the two directions I wish they would have taken Robotnik in for the trailer or for the movie. Is either Sonic Boom Eggman or Sonic Saturday AM. Either super goofy or super dark. One of those two. Not nerdy, arrogant asshole type.
And prepare to be destroyed by Burnfot.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that, old boy. I have machines of all kinds. Marvelous machines. They can do things you would not believe.
No. The claws. Yes, claws. Very painful claws.
And no Sonic Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. No Robotnik from that, 'cause that sucks.
I name the robot Burnbot Attack!
I've never seen this video, by the way. This is like kind of like cringy, but yeah, yeah. This is kind of. But it's the only thing I could find that had like original Robotnik in it.
I have always wanted to roboticize you, but I've changed my mind. Laser rifle.
I mean, like that kind of like. See, he doesn't like, you know, give a bunch of shit like Jim Carrey Robotnik did. He just does shit. He just says a few words and fucking just kills somebody. It's like fucking done, you know. I don't know if it's the same voice actor in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know if it is or not. Let me check actually. No, it's John Long Baldery. That's the one that did Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.